Hi, I'm Josh Cadillac, and welcome to my podcast, Know Your Shit. I've been blessed to see great success, as well as seeing the bottom up close and personal in 2008. And if there's one lesson I've learned, is that if you want to have success and differentiate yourself from everyone else out there, you need to know your shit. As a successful real estate and crypto investor and an educator, it drives me insane that people do not immerse themselves in their craft. Everyone is so busy advertising and testing new sales techniques, they forget the most important thing, the product. Here I want to talk to the folks that got this right, the most successful people in the world in every industry. Bring them to you and find out what they learned in their business that made it great. When you listen to my podcast, you will know for sure that the topics and experts we have on have one thing in common. They know their shit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Know Your Shit podcast, where our knowledge and pride in what we do drives us to be excellent. My name is Josh Cadillac, and I'll be in the driver's seat for today's show. And as always, we try to have a great show for you. And today, I'm sure we will, because we have Miss Tricia Turner with you. Tricia, thank you so much for being here.
Heck yeah, thanks for having me.
My pleasure, totally. So, Tricia, why don't you tell everybody what it is that you do?
Yeah, I'm in Houston, Texas. I'm a real estate broker. I've been in real estate for about 22 years, and I'm here to make a difference and change the world for sure.
Love it. What got you started doing that?
You know, for me, it was like right out of school and tried the college thing for a brief moment and didn't fit into my style at all. It wasn't for me. My dad was like, why don't you try going to real estate school? I think you might be good at that. And it stuck. And so it wasn't something that I ever thought would grow into what it has, but it has. And I've been at every big box company out there. Had my own brokerage for a bit, and I'm a real brokerage now, and I have a mega team of 31 agents, and goals for 100 million in sales volume. So we're out here making a difference.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where do you think all the success came from for you?
Whew. I tell you what, went through a divorce in 2008 and with 3 little kids, and I in a commission-based income. And 2008, of course, was the mortgage industry crash. So 8, 9, and 10 were not fun years for me, you know, and it was like, well, I can either go get a job at some company, or I can continue on this entrepreneur path in real estate and make it happen, and no days off. And that's what I chose to do. And I'd still my motto, no days off. It's grit, it's determination, and it's freaking doing the work. Absolutely.
Let me ask you a question. How many BPOs did you do in that period of time? Because God knows a few million.
Yes. That was crazy, wasn't it?
You know, I always ask people, like, I can tell who the ones that were the hardcore agents were. That, like, how many windows did you climb through between 2008 and, like, 2011? I know for me, there were definitely some sliding glass doors that got shimmied and whatever I had to do to get in there to get those properties listed, because God knows the bank was going to have me service them until, you know, the end of time if I didn't. So.
And then remember even working with buyers, you'd go up to one of them, there'd be like 30 people in line to get in that thing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. No, working the buyer side was always a very, very tough piece of this, because when the market turned around to high demand, it really turned in force. And it was very interesting to watch how that market liquidated itself, and how long it actually took, because of the intervention that came from the outside, how long it took for that market to actually liquidate out. But when it did switch from a seller's market, from a buyer's market to a seller's market, it switched in force. It was really an amazing thing to watch.
And, you know, if you look at the real estate market now, I just was talking to somebody about this morning. It's like the real estate market changes overnight, in an instant. If you're paying attention, you can see the signs coming, but it literally changes overnight. And you better be prepared and be ready, because it's coming.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's one of the things I teach all the time is distress sales. In fact, it's become a very popular class recently, is talking about distress sales, because people are anticipating for some reason that there's going to be a tremendous number of distress sales on the residential side. And I always have a hard time getting myself to a place where I can see that. Like on the commercial side, no argument for me. There is a bloodbath coming. I mean, the bloodbath that we're seeing maybe on the residential side are the folks that are in the short-term rental business. Short-term rentals are definitely underperforming. Could those folks be in trouble? Yes, but have they built 100,000 plus in equity in the last 3 years? Probably so as well. So they're not in an upside-down situation. So the question that I always keep coming back to is a very basic economic question. Are there enough homes right now for the ready, willing, and able buyers that we have, the approved buyers that could buy? Do we have enough homes for those folks today? And the answer is no. So we have to somehow figure out how to get in the situation. If we're going to talk about market tanking, the market in 2008 tanked because the lenders turned off the supply of borrowable money, and they took the demand from this to this overnight, which put us into an oversupply situation.
Yep.
Well, how do we get to an oversupply today? Because we're in an undersupply. Where does that come from? And I honestly can't figure out a path to that oversupply. And as long as that's the case, I still have to be relatively bullish on residential real estate. I think residential real estate is still a really strong place to be. Maybe multifamily, maybe not as strong as it was, still strong, but I'm staying away from hotel right now. I mean, I'm staying away from office right now. But on the resident, do I feel good about buying a single family home right now? Well, I'm a general contractor builder. I'm telling you, I can't replace that home for that home.
No.
Which, as long as that's the case, you will never have competition from the supply side bringing assets into the market to dilute your value. So that means if $350,000 is the lowest price they can build for, as long as you buy a home that's priced lower than that, there can never ever be any more supply of those homes than exists today, which means you're in a fixed market with increasing demand. What does that mean? It's going to appreciate faster than the rest of the market. It seems like it's a very basic idea, but it's so poorly understood.
It is, but if you think about it too, like I've explained to people, it's like, 85% of home sales are because of a life change, a death, divorce, baby, something like that. Those things are still going on. So even though the market has been slow for the last year and a half, those things still happen. So when this interest rate gets down to where it needs to be, all of those things are going to happen. So I think first quarter of 24 is going to be insane. I think homes are going to fly off the market. I think we're going to be in another bidding war situation. Very long.
I think that you're absolutely right, because the prices of the homes as they are today are supported by interest rates being where they are, which means as soon as interest rates drop, one, the folks that haven't wanted to sell their home because they have to rebuy at 7.5%, 8% interest rate, they're going to be like, well, gee, before the rates go back up again, let's get the hell out of here and go. And the buyers are going to be like, rates came down. Oh my God, let's buy now before they go back up again. And what's crazy is, as soon as the rates did come down, we saw a huge spike in first-time mortgage applications. The mortgage apps shot way up, which is the key indicator to us of what we're looking at as far as sales going forward. So the component, honestly, is, and this is the place that, well, I'll say where I think this is until I ask you the question as to where you think the market, what the opportunity is in the market today. So let me hit you with that. What do you think the opportunity in the market is today?
I think sellers need to get their freaking homes on the market immediately. I told everyone I'm talking to, I'm like, your home needs to be on the market by the third week of January. You're going to watch these things change. You don't want to be late to this party at all. You want to be ahead of the game.
Absolutely. I think, honestly, as an agent, the place that I would put the opportunity as, where the listings live, that agents are not paying enough attention to, is the short-term rental properties that are underperforming. From last October of 22 to October of 23, bookings in short-term rentals were down 30%. It was before the student loan repayments restarted. Student loan repayments restarted again this October.
Yeah.
Which means less discretionary spending, which means less traveling, which means less money being spent on hotels / short-term rental properties, which means you probably have a lot of short-term rental owners whose properties are significantly underperforming. And the benefit to me as an agent with those folks is they can sell and they don't have to rebuy. Which means they don't have to worry about where the interest rates are today. Now, obviously, the tax consequence to that, and that's a different conversation for a different period of time. And I'd love to see them sell and rebuy 1031 exchange and not have that problem, recognize, capture that equity that they've built. But to me, I think that that's an opportunity that most agents, especially when I speak all over the country, it's one that they're just really not paying attention to.
I like that because, when you add in that component that they don't really care what the interest rates are, they don't have to buy something else. What does it matter? Cash out now.
Absolutely. Or harvest the appreciation, because single-family residential, which a lot of these properties are, is an underserved market. Bring some inventory to market while the inventory is scarce. Harvest that return, and now take that. What they buy? They put down $100,000 to buy it. Well, now they have $250,000. Take that and go buy a $750,000 property that's a multifamily property, and now you have multiple units. Your long-term rental. There's less aggravation. Toilet paper is not your problem anymore, right? you can move on with life. So, I mean, I think that there's definitely a place for that conversation, but it's one of the things that I think really breaks down. Agents focus so much on this relationship component of real estate, and to me, it hurts my feelings a little bit, because if I was going to tell you, Tricia, how to sell used cars, the first thing I would tell you to do, build rapport. I'm going to tell you to sell timeshares, build rapport. In all the years and all the classes that I took, you want to know what the only thing they ever told me to do with my customer was? Build rapport.
Yeah.
The difference is customers often regret buying that used car. Customers often regret buying that timeshare. It's very seldom the customer regrets buying the product that I sell, because my product happens to be the greatest product in the world. And the people that don't know that most are the agents that are expected to go out there and sell it. Because I'll tell you what, and you can tell me if this is true or not for you, the class on what's great about real estate, that class is hard to find. The class on how to be a TikTok sensation, you can find 5,000 versions of that. But how to actually know what the hell you're talking about the thing that you actually sell, that class will go a million years and never see class one in real estate. Knowing what the hell we're talking about is just not a part of mainstream real estate, it seems like. And I don't understand why that is.
I think that's fascinating that you said that. And here is why. Because I run a team, a big team, and I do train them. My partner train them, but every Monday it's required, if you're part of our team, to be in the sales meeting from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. because you're going to get a live market update from me, because I'm obsessed with this market, and I'm going to tell you what is really happening, what you need to be talking about this week. I mean, you're not going to look like an idiot or sound like an idiot. And I know when they are listening to me, they're at least getting reality and they're getting the truth, and they can get out there and talk about it. Because other than that, they aren't paying attention, because nobody's teaching them what is really going on in the market and how to be successful.
And it's almost like it's not part of what our job is. And it's a misunderstanding of the very key factor that every customer actually comes to a real estate agent with one voiced question and one secret question. The voiced question, they find out you're in real estate, they always ask, how's the market? Question number one. And what do most agents do? Most agents say, it's great, and they change topics.
Yep.
Or they say it's great. Is anybody thinking of buying or selling real estate anytime in the near future? They thought real estate agents were like used car salesmen. When you say that, they know you're a used car salesman. So to me, that when they ask how the market is, you need to have the ability to speak for 30 minutes solid, if not an hour. I mean, I could probably go for 2 hours on what's going on in the market between construction and all the difference in condo versus single family home, Florida versus the national market, interest rates, what the Fed's going to. There's a million things to talk about, because I really want to answer the secret question that every customer has, which is, am I doing this thing at the right time?
Yes.
And so my ability to show them, and you could, by all means, if this is not what you say, by all means steal this and use it with your agents, because I want to see your people crush. My ability to answer that secret question takes the pressure off of the customer, that they don't have to now know this, because I do. So if they're bringing somebody on that actually knows what the hell's going on, it means they don't actually have to. They brought on a pinch hitter to go hit the ball. It's not like they hired me and now they got to go stand up to the plate and take it face the fastball. They bring me in because nobody gets the fastball by me, which means if they're with me, nobody gets the fastball by them. If you do that well, now you've given them two of the three things they need. You need the rapport. You want them to like you. You establish the credibility. That's the piece where agents drop the ball. They can't have that conversation where the customer walks away like, oh, wow, they really know what the hell they're talking about. And then that last piece, the third one for me, and you can tell me what your thoughts are, but I think considering how successful you've been in this business, I think that you'll probably agree, it's that trust. If they know you're looking out for them, if they know that they matter to you more than that commission, you're the first one to torpedo the deal if they're not happy. You're the first, whoa, we're not liking it? We're going to get you out. I'm going to get you out right now. Let's get it done. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to show you more houses. It's about you. I want to make sure you're okay. That's my job, is to look out for you. I know when that's done. So yeah, that's kind of the pieces that I think are like, I never had it laid out for me in my real estate career like that. Nobody talks about it, but if you were to ask a customer what they really wanted, an agent they like who knows their stuff cold and is looking out for them, I think that would be the wish list.
You know, it's funny. I speak in front of the real estate school about once a week to agents that are either in training, they just got their license, or in education, something. And I was just there yesterday, and I told them that very thing. I said, I'm going to tell you something, as y'all go into the new year, whether you just got your license or you're working on your 2-year, renewal, whatever it is, consumers want a market expert. And if you're not training at a high level and you're not doing this with everything that you've got and you're not doing this full time, you'll be irrelevant and nobody will want to work with you, period.
Well, I mean, I think that the numbers really back that up, Tricia, and this is one that always like eats at my soul. The every year NAR does this major study, right?
Yeah.
And they talk about how 92% of customers, when interviewed 2 years after doing a deal with an agent, said they would use the agent again.
Yep.
Here's the thing: 12% of customers actually use the agent again.
Yes.
So nearly 9 times out of 10, rather than pushing your name in the memory of their phone, the experience you left them with was so amazing, they would rather start from scratch interviewing somebody brand new than just push your name on the phone. So the study, to me, kind of has given a pass to the fact that as an industry, even though we spend 3 to 6 months typically with a customer between meeting them to closing them,
Yeah.
in 3 to 6 months, I can't leave them with the sense that they can't get what I give them better anyplace else. This is, to me, and this is why the book that I just wrote was called Close for Life. If you're not closing customers for life, you're not building a business.
No.
You're just taking and earning paychecks. You're an employee. This is an entrepreneurial endeavor. You said at the beginning, this idea that this is an entrepreneurial business.
Yeah.
You work for you. You work maybe under a broker, but you work for you.
Correct.
How do you build a business? You build a business by having loyal customers that never do business with anybody but you. That's how it's done. And that message is so missing in our industry. It's been eating my soul for years. I'm not going to lie.
You have to become their go-to expert. You have to become, number one, you have to work with people that realize that this real estate is an asset. This is an investment. Whether you live in it or not, it's an investment. So I want you to trust me to guide you with your investment. My clients will call me. They'll listen to me over their financial advisor when it comes to the real estate. They'll be like, you tell me, do you think I need to sell right now? My financial advisor says I should sit on this. And I'll tell them the truth because they know that I'm going to tell them the truth and I have no filter. Like I don't care anything about whether we ever transact business again. I'm here to guide you and be your expert.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to, the way originally from New York, the way I say it is when you're in New York and you need a plumber, you say to me, I need a plumber. You need a plumber. I got Vinny. No, I got a guy. You got to use my guy. Let me get my guy on the phone. Here's his number. You call. You tell him I told you to call. That's the question I ask agents. I say, why is every customer that you've ever worked with not saying about you, oh, real estate, I got a guy? That is the one question as a CEO of your real estate business that you need to be asking, because that's the thing that's going to help you fix your business in such a way that it is actually generating those loyal customers that would never go anyplace else.
Yep.
That's where it starts from. That's that CEO conversation that most agents never have, because most agents are too busy being the employee in their business that they don't take any time to actually run their business. It's a thing.
Yep. And you just said, like, think of it, CEO, that's a CEO mentality, but think of it also, 95% of the world are followers and only 5% are leaders. Most real estate agents, they only know what they know, and left to their own, they'll sell 3 or 4 homes a year. They're the average agent. Our people, even people that I train, I go on a lot of appointments with them to make sure that they're successful on this appointment. But it's when they're left on their own to go on that very same appointment, they lack that confidence. A lot of them do. Because sometimes these sellers, especially when you're dealing with sellers, the sellers think that they know more than we do, of course. And a lot of them think that we're not professionals because of our industry, unfortunately. And so you got to have that confidence. Like when I walk into a seller's home, number one, you're not going to disrespect me. And you're not going to talk down to me, nor are you going to talk like you know more than me, because you don't. And I'm very quick to let them know, I'm pretty sure I've sold more homes than you, sir. And you have to be able to walk in there, declare yourself, show your respect, like demand that kind of respect, and be able to walk out the door if they're not going to give it to you. And I think so many people are just concerned about, oh, I got to get this deal, or I got to get this commission because I need it. And it's not that. It's business, period.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that's key to realize, especially on the listing side, I love the listing side of the business. It's the only side of the business that I can still do because of my speaking schedule. I mean, I'm on the road about 200 days a year right now. But the idea that you're walking into a negotiation And that negotiation that you're walking into is a negotiation for credibility. The customer has this idea in their head that they might be the real estate expert in the room. My job on the way in, because I know that negotiations are going to occur, my job is to bring a bazooka to that knife fight. All right, I'm going to blow them up before they ever get a chance to get started, because I know that negotiation is going to happen, which means I've been arming myself for over a decade, like 15 years, to make sure that this hobbyist who saw something on HGTV is never coming out. I don't care if he went to Harvard. He's not eating my lunch in the thing that I do for a living. Not on my watch. I'm sorry. And the way to do that in a painless way is I'm going to have a market conversation. I'm going to talk about where the market is, why it is where it is, how it's affected by gross domestic product, inflation rates, what type of appreciation real estate does in an inflationary market. He's going to know when he's done that I know this way better than he does, and I'm not going to even have to have that negotiate. I'm not going to have to push back hard. It's a nice way to land the right hook to let him know, you don't want to take this out to the street. Just relax.
Yeah. And I think you get that level of confidence when you take your business serious, like when you spend the extra time studying and you're not just showing, you're not in reactive mode. Like, this is what I do. These are my priorities. This is how I train. Like I'm talking about my morning routine. It's like I train my mind, body, and soul every single day because I got to get up and fight all day long. I'm going to be fighting. At some form, I'm fighting all day long. And you got to become a fighter, period.
That's right. This business will kick you in the teeth.
It will.
Kick you in the teeth again and again and again. And it's your ability to persevere and to keep pushing forward that's going to allow you to stay in there. And you need to take and recognize it's going to be hard. That is one of my favorite lessons to tell new agents that nobody ever told me at the beginning. It's going to be way harder than you think it is. And if you find yourself crying yourself to sleep, that doesn't necessarily mean you're doing anything wrong. Everybody does that at some point. You know what that makes you? Normal.
Yep.
Like, it's okay. But just because you got your butt kicked doesn't mean you can stay down. Your customers are depending upon you. You need to figure out a way to get yourself back on your feet as quickly as you can, because it's not just about you. People are depending upon you. How do you get you where you need you to be? Because you, as the CEO of your business, are responsible for the morale of the staff, which means you are responsible for you.
Yes.
You got to be up and going.
You know, I think real estate, if you pay attention to the market and you've been in it as long as we haven't, the market will teach you and will train you. We got blindsided with COVID. No one saw that one coming. Like, what the hell is COVID? What is this? It shut us down, but then it took us off. And then this last market that we're just now coming out of, what the hell was that? A total gridlock. No one saw that coming. And when it did start coming, no one knew how long it was going to last. And then the interest rates up, down, buyers and sellers were like, I'm not doing it. Oh, I am doing it. It's like, this year has been like lunacy. But you know what? It makes you realize, if I don't start building wealth in other areas related to real estate and not just transactions, I'm going to be in a situation because the market's not done correcting itself. 2024 is going to bring a whole nother level of disruption to us. And if we're not prepared, you're going to be gone. And there's a lot of people that are going to be gone. And I think that's a great thing because they don't take it seriously.
Absolutely. Thin the herd. Look, the way I refer to it, Tricia, is they have to commit to pay the most expensive bill in real estate, the one that most agents will never pay. They have to commit to pay attention. Most agents do not pay attention. Most agents have a super key and a driver's license, and they want to go show the pretty houses.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, that's a glorified uncompensated Uber driver you described. That's not a real estate professional. The customers coming to me because they don't know how to do the thing that I do. And that problem is what brings them to me.
I talked to a friend of mine this morning, another broker, and we were talking about the industry and disruption. And I told her, I said, I take a week out of every month and I go through what is called Thrive Week here in our company. And I'm with the agents, new agents out there, and I'm training them every day. And she said, yeah, but like, you know how they are. The average agent's not going to listen to anything you tell them, anything you show them. They're going to go off and do nothing like most of them do, because she's super frustrated right now. And I was like, yes, this is true. But if I don't do it, then you will. Like, I'm looking for those people that are going to do those things. You know, we can't just turn our back on them.
Absolutely. No, you have to take and keep putting it out there for the agents that are actually going to try to take and do the right thing. And that means if you got to take and cast your line 1,000 times to catch a fish, then I guess I got 999 more casts to do today, right? And just keep doing it. It's the same thing as being successful in this business. You're going to get a lot of no's to get to every one yes. It's your ability to persevere through that headwind that's going to get you where you need to be, whether it's training agents, building a business, whatever. there's a lot of adversity that's got to be gotten through. But let me ask you this: what do you like best about what you do?
Honestly, now, of course, the money is always great, but now it's not about money at all. Now it's about changing lives. Go through, such a crap divorce, and nobody was there when I did, and it was like, no one ever said, "Hey, here's a lead. Hey, call this person. Hey, do this." No one ever said those things to me. I built this clearly on grinding every single freaking day and making mistakes and getting up and doing it again, fighting. And I don't want people to go through what I went through. We have a system design where it's like, do these things, say this, like do exactly what I tell you these things are, and you'll be fine. You'll be successful. You want to learn from 7, 8, 9 figures, you can. And when I watch agents get transactions in their first 30 days and they get stuff in their pipeline and they're glowing and they're like, oh my God, it's like, wow, that's super cool because you see hope and it's cool as crap.
Yeah, no, it's giving somebody a chance that's taking us a leap in this thing that they're doing themselves, for them to almost to prove themselves to themselves and see that they can do maybe more, they can be successful. A lot of agents come in and they're on the fence. They don't know whether or not they have it in them to be successful. And the ones that actually are trouble for me are the ones that come in dead certain that they're going to succeed. Those are the ones that I get worried about because they're the ones that got told they were perfect little snowflakes their whole life, and as soon as it gets hard, they wilt and they go on to something else, and they try 50 different brokerages before they get out of the business, and it's always somebody else's fault as opposed to thinking about the one consistent piece that's been with them the entire time, if you will.
You have to think like we have core values, of course, that we live by, and ours are the acronym CARE. Our number one thing is coachable. C is for coachable. Like if you're not coachable and always in learner mode, you're not going to make it because this industry is hard. And being successful, anyone can be in real estate, but actually being successful in real estate is a challenge. And what is that level of success? Well, as we continue to get disrupted, the consumer wants a big experience. They want somebody that is a local expert. They want somebody that is going to look them in the eye and tell them exactly what to do because they need help. Think that they do, but they do. And if you lead them, they will follow. And that's what's going to take us into the next everything.
You got to give them somebody worth following. You got to
Yep.
give them somebody that they believe has the capacity to lead. If you do that, they will follow. But it's a matter of the confidence that you talked about, having the data, the information, and positioning it in a way that's most compelling to the customer to show them, hey, look, I know what you think of most real estate agents, and you're probably right. Luckily for you, I'm nothing like any of those people.
Yeah.
Right? Because that, honestly, to me, is the first negotiation. That credibility negotiation is to not be perceived as a real estate agent.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I fall in that category, that's lazy, not very smart, overpaid, and all I care about is commission. That is death for me closing a customer for life. I want to be seen as the real estate market expert that, by the way, happens to have a license and can actually help you do this, right?
Yes.
If I'm in that place, man, the negotiation is so much smoother.
Well, and you got to think like too in the state of Texas, like we're dealing with so many different variables now with homeowners insurance and property taxes that a lot of people don't. Texas, California, and Florida have been hit like hugely with huge homeowners insurance rates. Some companies aren't even insuring properties here. A lot of it because of hail, a lot of it because of storms. And so if you don't understand that aspect of the whole transaction, again, you're going to get caught with your pants on because you're not going to know how to explain it to a buyer or a
Correct. And now you have a buyer that you put in the house, their rates go way up, and now they're pissed about the house that you bought. That should be one of the happiest experiences in their life. How do you make sure it's the happiest? You tell them what could be a problem before it's a problem. Say, hey, this is what's going on. This is where we could be. This is the exposure. This is how we manage the exposure. This is what we could do. There's a line, Tricia, that my broker says, and it's one of my favorites. He says, my job, this is what he used to tell his customers, my job is to make sure you have no surprises. I was like, it's so simple. But yeah, it really does. My job is to I'm the guide. I've been to this rodeo before. I know all the clowns. I know all the bulls. I know where to sit. I know everything that's going to go on here. You stay with me, you're going to be okay. Right? And give them that sense of peace that we're going to get it done, and we're going to get it done in a way that's going to make you happy. Nobody's going to get the fastball by me.
I also think it's keeping your on not just like the real estate market, the world. Like, there's people going through financial things right now. Personal things, a lot of people, and they're prideful. They're not going to tell you that in the first place, and they're never going to tell you if they don't trust you. And so, like you talk about that level of trust, you got to get there. And sometimes you got to get there quick if you're going to be that trusted advisor and actually be able to help them out of these situations, because you're in their home for one reason or another. And it's our job to be that trusted advisor. Maybe it's not a good time for them to sell right now, but let me tell you something. We're going to figure that out so that you don't end up losing your home. Not on my watch.
No, absolutely. Show them that you are the resource that they need to make the best choice. So let me ask you this, Tricia. What do you think makes you good at what you do?
My passion, 1000%. Like, yeah, I mean, I have done so many deals, not that I choose to do them for free, but when I'm in someone's home and we're in a situation and I got to get you out of the situation, we're going to get you out of the situation. And I think having that level of, yes, I can. If I said I was going to do something, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to hold myself accountable. And your word is everything, especially in this industry. People that know if I say I'm going to do something, you can take that to the bank. It's going to happen, and period. Like, no one questions that. And I love having that because I don't want anyone to ever doubt me or my abilities. Never. I'm a fighter. I'll kick your ass. Like,
Understood. No, and that's how you have to be. This business requires somebody that's willing to take and fight. So you said passion is the thing. What do you think makes you passionate about what you do? Where do you think it comes from?
pain, of course, pain of everything I've been through. Oh yeah. I dropped out of school at 17. I was a drug addict. Started using drugs at the age of 12. So I shouldn't be where I am today at all. But I am, and I am successful. And it's been built on just grit and determination to not become what everyone said I would become. And I think when you go through things in your life, and you're like, yeah, you know what? You and yes, I can. If you can do it, so can I. You're no better than me. And having that mentality, not on my watch, And then I have three little kids, and they're grown now. But when I went through that divorce, they were little, and their dad didn't help me in any means. It was not a good time in my life, and you know what? I had to feed them and I had to take care of them, and I did. And they've lived a great life, and they never wanted for anything, and they never knew if we were struggling ever. We never let them. I was going to make it happen, period. And I had amassed over $100,000 in credit card debt years ago. And you know what? I didn't care, because if we were going to go somewhere, we were going to go somewhere, and I'll figure it out. I just go out there and hustle more and sell more houses. I'll get out of this debt. I'm worried about it. And it's having that mentality. I'm not worried about it. We'll get through it. We can do this.
Love it. Love it. Good stuff, Tricia. It really, really is. So let me ask you this. What are you most proud of in business that you've accomplished?
My team that we have, like, for sure, the trust, the being that trusted advisor. I'm blessed that I get to ask to be on the local news here often. In fact, I'm on there almost monthly now, which is super freaking cool. They trust me. I'm brought on as an expert advisor, and they pretty much will let me say whatever I want. And it's really cool because it's gained notoriety, and people know, like, A, I don't have a filter, and B, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, and I'm not afraid of the camera. Like, this is what's happening in the market, whether you like it or whether you don't. I also, sharing my testimony is something I just started doing about a year ago, because before I used to think, well, people are going to judge me. You know what? You can judge me. Clearly, I'm not a drug addict anymore. I stopped doing that when I became a mom. I had to make a choice. It could either be a mom or a drug addict. And I chose. And, my son is 25 years old now. And so it's like, you know what? I've been in dark places. I'm not in dark places now. And I want to make sure no one goes into dark places. That is.
Now, I get that. So let me ask you kind of the same question, but in a little bit different context. What are you most proud of in life that you've accomplished?
Being there with my kids, making sure that they never went without, making sure that they were happy at all times, making sure that they were secure. They always had a home to live in, a nice home to live in. They never went without clothes. When I was growing up, my parents divorced when I was 11. And I took drugs right after that. And my mom, I loved her to death, and my mom passed away in 2010 of cancer. But my mom was on a very strict budget. We grew up that everything was like very budgeted, and so I didn't get the designer clothes that all the other kids were wearing. I didn't get all the designer stuff that all these other kids were wearing, and she didn't understand how important that it was. But it was, because that, in my mind, was the turning point in my life. It was sixth grade, and these other kids, my friends, were wearing all these designer clothes, and I couldn't. and I started getting pushed out of the cool kids group because I was in their group and I started getting pushed out. Didn't get invited to go to hang out with them after school, and they were too busy in the hallways at school. And that's when I met the kids that were doing drugs, and that was my first interaction with drugs because I fit in more with them because they didn't dress in the fancy clothes and they didn't have all that neat stuff either. And I made it through all of that, but I'm certain 1000% that is why I went down that path that I went down. And when I became a mom, I swore that I didn't care how much money I made or not. My kids would wear designer underwear from the day they would wear underwear and designer clothes, and they would never look like we have money, and they haven't. And thank the Lord, my kids did not. And my mom used to always say, "I hope your kids end up just like you." And they didn't. My kids are beautiful and wonderful, and we're best friends, and they're not drug addicts, and they weren't. They're good people with good souls, but they always wore designer underwear and designer clothes because it mattered, because I believe that's what took me down that bad path, and I didn't want them to ever go where I went.
Understood. That is a great thing to have accomplished, to recognize that and to take and be able to have done that for your kids. What one piece of advice would you give our folks that are listening today?
I would tell everybody, pay attention to who you're paying attention to. There's so many people out there that are life coaches and real estate coaches, and they've never done jack crap. Really go deep on and find out what people are really about. Don't align yourself with people that really aren't there to support you and inspire you and help you. Be out there with people that want to change the world, because they're hard to find, but when you do, stick to them like glue.
Yeah. No, the good ones are hard to find. It is true. All right. A little bit of a change of pace here. What one book or movie would you recommend to the folks listening?
I am a reader, so I read a lot of books. The Gap and the Gain is one of my favorite books. It's a good read. I've read it a couple of times. Definitely that one, Good to Great, is another one of my favorite ones. Love that one. Those are good. It's all about mindset. Your mindset is what's going to take you into the next level of everything. And for me, I have a routine, and I focus anywhere from 2 to 4 hours on my mind, body, and soul every morning before I even face it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So I can tell that you're a hustler. I can tell that you got it going. You got a motor and you're going. What is next for you, Tricia?
I'll tell you what's next for me. We also have an event center here, and I'm working on a project right now. Haven't come up with a name yet, but it should be a pretty big book, and we'll launch it next year. I'm actually writing it right now, and it's based around that morning routine because I am like a robot in the mornings. It's kind of waking up that hard, just like up and let's face the world kind of thing. And for the longest time, I've been really humble about the things I've accomplished and what I do to do. And I tell on my team, I'm like, you know what, we're going to hashtag everything score in 24 because it's our time now. I'm going to stop being humble. I'm going to get up. I'm going to talk about all that we do, all that we are, all that we're going to do, and bring everybody along with us. Sure.
Good stuff. Take everybody along for the ride.
Yes.
Who's going to go on the ride, right? The company.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, again, change of topics, change of ideas. So get prepared. What do you do to unwind?
Well, I'm a type A, and so I don't unwind very easily. But honestly, I work a lot because I'm always in build mode. And my dad used to say that to me, when will you stop? Like, why do you always have to keep building things? I was like, I'm never going to stop. But for me, I like to work out. I do. And then I like to hang out with my friends. My friends thankfully, I'm blessed with a lot of friends, and we chill. We hang out. And my family. We do a lot of events. We have a bar, and so we do a lot of events in our bar. We like that.
Love it. Last question, Tricia. Where can folks that want to hear more about what you're up to, where can they find you?
I'm all over social media, of course. Facebook is super big. You can just Google Tricia Turner, and I'll come up everywhere. Call Tricia Turner is like my hashtag, and so I would tell them, just go to Call Tricia Turner, and you'll find me.
Good stuff. Tricia, thank you so much for coming on and for giving us some of your time and your wisdom. It is greatly appreciated.
Thank you for having me, for sure.
All right, for everybody listening, thanks for listening once again. Have a great one. And folks, let me go ahead and tell you, go out there and do something big, do something amazing, do something great, do something you can be really proud of. Till next time, folks, catch you again on the Know Your Shit podcast.